everybody? Welcome to the ManaTraders series Top 8, Bradley.
Oh, my.
I'm Corey Baumeister. That's Brad Nelson. We are going to be bringing you all the action here of this Top 8. We have a incredibly diverse Top 8. We got 6 different decks.
That is awesome, actually.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've played a format where that's even possible.
I know, no kidding. My God, when we were playing our last Top 8 together, what was it, like 6, decks or something when we were in Standard?
Well, Modern also had 7 different decks.
That's true. Well, we knew. Yeah. So you're saying all the Magic Online formats were absolute gas?
There's a lot of diversity. There might be.
Absolutely. So we're going to be bringing you the Top 8 here. The way the structure works is we're going to be, playing the normal way up through the Top 8 to declare a winner. They're also going to be playing, if they do lose, to play for some points that will help them off in qualification for this final end of the year tournament. That's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, there's so many points involved with this. Now, the 2 winners of this tournament will be heading into the December Championship Finals.
Yep.
But everyone is getting points that will also allow them, if they grind through the entire season, if they don't end up spiking anything, they can use those and get an invitation as well.
Absolutely. Not to mention cold hard cash will be given out to all of our Top 8 competitors here. Obviously, the better you do, the more you're getting.
I do like how that works.
And I mean, honestly, wasn't the last tournament, weren't you in the finals?
I think the one before, maybe it was the last one.
I think it might have been the last one, or at least the second.
I did lose it. So does that mean that I'm in the finals already? And do I play in December?
Oh, sorry, that rule started in 2022. Get wrecked there, Brad. Get wrecked.
Always a step behind.
Yep, absolutely. So one thing we are going to do here, we don't necessarily have a graphic for all the deck lists yet. Maybe something that we can work on here in the future. But just talking about our Top 8, to start it off, we have our lone undefeated player who damns to flex. 69, nice, is playing Jeskai Ascendancy. This is one of the decks that had a little bit of crossover. There was 2 copies of Ascendancy, just kind of showing how good this deck is. So we have that.
That's Logan.
Yep. That we have that for our combo deck. Next up, another combo deck in the form of Lotus Field, trying by Victor. Another really cool looking deck. Just trying to combo off with, Lotus Field, Thespian Stage, stuff like this. Something we didn't get to see on coverage yesterday, so I hope we get to take a peek at this.
I do too. I mean, Immersion Ultimatum off of all of these land things sounds hilarious.
Right. All right. So it looks like the players are also getting set up here, making sure they know what's up. Next up in third place, we have Naya Winota by Super Cow.
We have seen this a few times during the Swiss.
We've seen this a bit. Just trying to cast Winota and put in a ridiculous amount of power that completely overwhelms your opponent. A really strong deck.
And we've played a lot of Magic in our day, and we still don't know if Llanowar Elves or Elvish Mystic is the better one throughout. Hopefully Super Cow wins the tournament, comes in, explains that to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, because we are going to try to talk to our winner here, and if they come in, that's going to be the #1 question we ask.
For sure.
Everybody wants to know the hard-hitting issues of which one is better. All right, next up we got Mono Green Devotion, which is my favorite deck of this Top 8 by Mogged. Did well throughout the tournament. We featured them quite a lot. Just Mono Green Nykthos style decks where you top off with Vorinclex, a bunch of Mistcutter Hydras, Vivians. No longer a Karn deck like it used to be.
Yep.
But yeah, this deck has probably, next to Winota, the highest ceiling as far as just huge explosive draws go.
It gets degenerate. Well, all these decks are actually, if you all the decks they're all degenerate.
They really all are degenerate. Okay, so moving in, that is our 4th place finisher, and that is the one we're going to try to watch. Now, as we saw for coverage yesterday, first of all, thank you for being here if you watched us yesterday, but we had some problems with people's hand cams and stuff. We're hoping we get all 8 players hand cammed up for this event, but we're going to try to bring you some one of the matches that has both players working and kind of try to improve it through the top 8.
And since we're talking about this, the full transparency is the team, everyone behind coverage was really excited about yesterday. The turnout, all of you watching, really excited, all of us. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to be going back to the drawing board actually tomorrow for February. So hopefully a lot of things do improve as we go through this 2020 journey.
Yeah, when goats like have some problems or something, they just, get back into the gym the very next day. After Michael Jordan didn't win the NBA championship for the 4th time in a row. Exactly, same thing. He didn't win that championship. The next day, went into the gym. That's what we're doing. We didn't get it 1,000,000,000% perfect, so we're just gonna go in, lift a lot of weights, and do a couple like Rocky montages, and we're gonna really get it nailed for next.
I followed all of that. And 5th place.
All right, everyone. Actually, I'm gonna cut you short with 5th place because we're actually ready to watch some Magic, and we want to do it from the beginning. So here is our top 8 Magic at the ManaTraders series. All right, now let's see if we got both hand cams. Oh,
what?
My God.
It's happening.
Yes, mogged and raced. Thank you so much already. So looks like we got 2 7-card hands. And Brad, tell me a little bit about this Rakdos Blood deck, because I don't think we featured it at all.
All right, well, the Rakdos Blood deck actually is based around hand disruption and all of these value things with Deadly Dispute, blood tokens, and I believe there's some claim to fames in here, is there not?
Yeah. Claim. Oh, wow. Is this list not actually playing them?
Okay, there is no claim to fame.
Wow. So that's shocking to me, because that is what kind of used to be around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it is just more of a value deck. There's just a lot of new blood synergies from Crimson Vow, and that works really well with Deadly Dispute, all this hand disruption, and it's effectively a Croxa deck. So we're going to see trying to be a... Honestly, race plan in this matchup is to just hope something doesn't get too degenerate. Like a Vivian Arcbow Ranger wants to just, that is the thing, right? If that gets taken by this duress, Mogged is going to have to find something already bigger to do with all the mana they're trying to generate.
Yeah, absolutely. And we might have that top hand frozen a bit there, just because it does look like we had a mulligan to 5, unfortunately. So that one might need a refresh there. I mean, it'd be too good to be true. That it would just be perfect.
It would.
Right?
It would.
So we'll see if we can for sure get that second one loaded up.
But all right, so we had Oath of Nissa getting a Castle Garenbreg. Interesting to not use the Burning Tree. I guess that is just to hold for that Nykthos in hand.
Yep, absolutely. And there's the Elvish Mystic. Got Burning Tree Emissary. Probably just going to see those 2 creatures saddled up. You also have Nykthos, so that does add 3 green. You can't quite go completely nuts on this turn. With 2 Burning Tree Shamans, then you get that turn 3 Planeswalkers, and it gets to be pretty insane.
Yeah, that Elvish Mystic, if drawn the turn prior, would have been able to do that. But, yeah, I mean, still a Vivian Arcbow Ranger against a mulligan. One of the things that this Rakdos deck doesn't really deal with well is Planeswalkers in play.
Yeah, nope, 100%. It's really tough for that to happen. So, but they're also really good at ripping apart the hand.
We're going to have to see some kind of hand disruption here. A Go Blink would take both cards. A Duress is Lurrus to hand that is not the act of a strong hand.
No. That is, and this honestly, it's a good Lurrus deck, but it's not a great Lurrus deck. It's, it doesn't have Bobble or anything to go with that. We see
this is a biased statement from someone who doesn't want Lurrus to be banned in Modern.
Yeah, actually I do. I really do, and it would greatly hurt my deck, which is unfortunate here. But.
All right. Well, Vivian comes down. Vivian now is able to put 2 +1/+1 counters anywhere on the creatures and threaten now that search for a creature in the sideboard. That Living Wish ability, and that could be devastating with the Nykthos and all of these green pips in play.
Yeah.
We might just see an Ulamog. I want to see an Ulamog!
I want to see an Ulamog too. Do you think Rakdos has many answers to said Ulamog?
Ever? Yes. In the deck, no.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, if you get enough blood, if there's enough blood in this world.
Yeah, that's a good. Honestly, you only need 5. It is not impossible.
6, right?
You only need 5. It's twice.
Oh, it's
Ulamog's
a 10-10. Okay,
Yeah.
11. Yeah. All right, so it seems like we are not able to refresh that hand. It is too good to be true.
It is too good to be true, but you know what? Maybe we can.
If anything, we should probably remove it. Yeah, so
there we
go. To not confuse the audience coming in.
Be like, how did they play that one? Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's a Voldaren
Epicure.
Epicure.
Yeah, it's a fun word to say.
It is a fun word to say. All right, blood is just cycling right now. Ooh. Are we sure there is no claim to fame in this deck list? Do we get the right deck list? Because this one has the vessel.
This one does have the vessel.
And
check this out again. I think I saw this list.
Well, it just got claim to fame. So the list that you were showing me might have. There it is, 3 claim to fame.
Okay, yes. Yep, absolutely. This one does have 3 claims. This is kind of the stock list. It has the one kind of random Fiery Temple, Go Blank, all this stuff. This picture. There was 2 Rakdos blood decks in it, so yep, I just clicked on the wrong one naturally.
All right, bunch of green put into the. There we go. Ula Mog.
Ula Mog. Ula Mog. What do you think that 10 mana is going to be used for? Mistcutter Hydra?
Not something great for a race, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, there is some thinking. So maybe there's some of. I do think that there's that crater hoof creature. I don't exactly remember the text of it. It's been a while.
Yeah, let's take a picture of that. Yeah, it does look like Ulamog was selected, so we don't have to Google that description there.
Yeah, the desecrated something. I don't know. It's the one that that attaches.
Yeah. God, there is just so many random creatures in the sideboard of this deck too. I love it.
Well, you gotta do it when you're. I mean, you're not gonna board that much, right? You're kind of an engine deck.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I love those kind of decks where you're just not gonna change much. It's just much easier to play. Yeah, you just click submit. You got 2 minutes to go get yourself a beverage or something until the next game starts.
So here we see just a beatdown by Mogden. Now we've been seeing this all stream. I don't think there's a lot Raced can do with this if we can pull up the deck list for ourselves.
Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, I don't think this is deal with the bull, except if we just have a ton of blood, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Lurs comes down. Ulamog is hungry for 20 cards. Another Burning Tree means that this Mistcutter Hydra is also going to be a lethal threat.
This mono green deck is awesome, bro. I am a huge fan of this.
It is fun. It lives or dies hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. The games just are never close. I think when you're playing this kind of mono green devotion deck, it's just very much not close. I think that Dimir control match where the Dimir player just kept top decking stuff to just live, one extra turn here and there. That was like the only close match we've seen, and even that one kind of shouldn't have been because Mog just started off with that really aggressive start, and it's just so hard to lose with that start if there isn't some kind of early way to deal with the Llanowar Elves creatures. In this match, what we're really going to see is just fatal pushes and other 1-mana red removal spells just be aimed at those elves like immewardly. Yeah. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
And as you're saying, if this is the first day of watching coverage for us, what we're doing is waiting for the players to sideboard. We're just staying on this screen because it'll come up eventually.
Yeah.
We are using. We're not using any Discord streaming things with the players, so we don't get to see how the sideboard. Because one of the great things about the ManaTraders series, honestly, I do appreciate this as a player. As a coverage person, I would like a little bit more control. But as a player that cares about my tournament, I do not really want to be delayed constantly by coverage. We're not doing that on the ManaTraders series. They're playing their tournament. They're going full blown at the speed that they play as the tournament progresses. We're just trying to keep up.
Yep, absolutely. That's the main thing here. That is the main thing. All right, so looking at the sideboards here from Raced to start, we have some Duresses, we have some Go Blanks, I guess there is a decent amount of just early removal, like Flame Blessed Bolt. Do you bring those in, bro? Or what do you bring in from the Rakdos side?
I think you're going to want to remove a little bit of your removal. Like, you don't want to go hard on the, I'm going to Croak so you plan because it's a little slow. What you need to do is you need to contain all of the mana acceleration, deal with a couple of the threats as they come, and get them down to as low of resources as possible because Nykthos gets affected by that. When the top decks of a mono green deck can be horrible in the late game if you can just deal with their initial push. So we're going to see Thoughtseize being prioritized, early interaction being prioritized. We're going to see that grindy, deadly dispute strategy where you're just trying to navigate around removal spells from your opponent. That's all probably going to go away just to focus on controlling Mog's ability to scale.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense here, just because, like, you know, that kind of grindy game is great when your opponent plays a lot of removal. Mono green does not care what your opponent is doing. That is for sure.
Unless it's a degenerate combo deck like the others doing it a little quicker.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point. But honestly, what does mono green do to those degenerate combos? Like, it still just has to just try to be as fast as possible. So it kind of cares in the sense where, you know, it has to really speed up. But yeah, that's it.
And here we go. Another decent start for Mogged. We've got Oath of Nissa, Elvish Mystic, and Burning Emissary as a start. If a Nykthos shows up, that's a great combination.
Yep.
And is that an action? Is that the same hand?
That looks like the same hand.
It does look like the old hand. I don't know why that's coming up.
You know, I'm guessing that this was the one player I didn't come in contact with. And I'm guessing this is just what they had open from the last game they played, and then maybe closed it down or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that we don't have the hand there.
I'm just going to say this out here. If you're interested in playing the ManaTraders series next month, and you want to be on coverage, all you got to do is download what they ask in the Discord and open that before you open Magic Online. We're going to do a little tech support for a month in advance. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. That's really all we want. And you'll get on Corey and Brad's good graces. I mean, what more can you want there?
Nothing.
I mean, that's it. But looking at Mogg's hand here for game 2 on the draw, while players decide if you want to keep. What about that one, bro?
I mean, it looks amazing. Yeah.
It looks amazing. Everything about that hand looks awesome. Looks like we do have a mulligan from Race there, down to 6 Magic cards. And we got a 1 mana, 1/1. Take 1, Brad.
It is 1/1, take 1, but not from the Raging side. All right, so...
Raging Goblin has gone really far these days, right?
And you're going to see Raced mulligan a little aggressively. They have to interact with a green deck. Like, the game is decided in the early turns.
And honestly, as that hand looked right there, they only had 1 land, and they left in duress.
Yep, and now they're cycling. Oh, Fiery Temper is not a bad one to blood.
This is a sweet one here. Looks like this is the list that only has 1 Fiery Temper main, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
And
I love it.
I don't know what you call them, but those are fun ofs to me.
Those are definitely fun ofs here. All right, it does look like there is another land, but decides to go with Oath instead of like Burning Tree Emissary into Oath or into Llanowar Elf. Do you like that?
Yes, because we're getting paid off right now. That Nykthos was explored, and now you can turn that red pip that Burning Tree Emissary creates into a green source. Now, if they started with Burning Tree Emissary, they wouldn't have been able to play Oath of Nissa and the Llanowar Elf.
Sure, that makes sense.
And then once they find the Nykthos, that'll generate that green, and it'll give the 2 pips. It's kind of a free card on that turn.
Okay. You know what? Coming from Jun Guy here, I should be shocked that you wouldn't have a great explanation for how to soak up all the value from a deck. That,
you could just say one of the best players of all time.
I definitely could have.
Yeah, that's right.
I definitely could have said that. You are absolutely right.
Now, if you ask me these days, probably not.
No, you still got it. You still got it. I mean, literally, you top-8'd the Invitational and this ManaTrader series. That's like your last 2 events. So
that's actually true.
Modesty is something that we know comes with Brad Nelson as he's crushing your face in front tournaments. So.
All right, Thoughtseize comes out. Also, a fun fact, I played the same 75 standard decks in both tournaments.
Did you?
Yeah, or maybe like 71 or something.
Yes. Hey, when you have faith in the old Is It machine, I don't blame you. I played it as well, but I played a worse version, if I remember.
No, it was better. He was being modest. But anyway, Vivian is gone, and this is where we're going to see the difficulty. Now, if the hand cam is correct, which is 4, we've got an Oath of Nissa.
Yeah, we got another Oath here. Oh, the double Oath is kind of awkward. You know, I mean, it does not continue for your devotion. But now we're going to see this Nykthos turns. You know, Nykthos is open information here. But, I mean, if it isn't, you know, Race is just thinking, okay, not Nykthos, because then that's what creates the just completely absurd turns. And I wouldn't be too shocked to just see... I was going to say just a big Voracious Hydra here, but I think I like this better. Maybe trying to find a Vivian.
Can hit another Vivian.
Yeah.
And that's the big one in this matchup. If there's no pressure for the Planeswalker, it's not being killed by other removal spells. Now, there is a few Dreadbores, but that's about it. Feed the Swarm cannot kill Planeswalkers, if I remember correctly.
No, Feed the Swarm is just enchantments and creatures, and you lose damage equal to that. So I'd be kind of shocked if that one came in. And then, it's nice in these kind of matchups. Usually we have 2 deck lists open, but it doesn't really matter what the mono green is.
I know the mono
sideboard.
green decks already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we've got this Race to Hydra that can come down and deal with one of these threats.
Yeah.
But the engine needs to get revving for Race, and we have not seen any. Well, we haven't seen their hands, so we can't tell. But through the gameplay, it doesn't seem like it's there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's absolutely great there. And last turn from Mog, that was just an unfortunate turn, really. It was just Oath of Nissa, that search for Elvish Mystic. And now Voracious Hydra is going to be big next turn, but decided to not play it and just lose all that mana.
Yeah, what we saw there is an attack for 1, and that indicated that one of Anger of the Gods, actually, because there is no other thing. Putting 1 damage on the Burning Tree wouldn't have done anything. So yeah, we saw that. And now we're going to just see a 4/4.
A 4/5,
excuse me. And if I have my mana correct, we are way far away from casting that Sylvan Permanent. We need to pull up Mog's list because I'm pretty sure that is a sideboard card that just auto comes in.
I think
Mog has been like, I have a 1 of him with sideboard, and that is coming in, and I'm going to destroy some permanents.
Yeah, I am looking right now, and it looks like it is a sideboard card that we've seen coming in against now Dimir Control and Rakdos Blood.
Yeah.
What? We see that Feed the Swarm that did come in, and that screams to me from Race that I just want to kill everything. I think Race just brought in all the removal because that would have been the last piece of removal that I would have expected to come in here. But hey, Brad, look at this. When we were talking in the early game how mono green just wins or it gets completely destroyed, things like Thoughtseize to take your 1 powerful Planeswalker, Fiery Temper to stop that early mana advantage, and then Anger to clean up 3 permanents. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and now we've got Den, one of the most expensive cards of Magic Online, coming in to deal some damage. Showing
really?
why. I mean, no, I don't think so.
I was going to say, wow. Vorin Collect, not exactly
it's more expensive than Tarmogoyf. Let's all start there.
How Tarmogoyf has fallen.
I know.
How Tarmogoyf has fallen. But hey, the nice thing is with a ManaTraders subscription, it's all free.
Yeah, you can rent it out. Oh, and then a Vorin collects. Now, this is not great because this clock is actually a 2-turn clock. It's going to deal 6 this turn and 7 the next. Or 5 this turn, and never mind. It's not a 2-turn clock. It's a 3-turn clock. Why would you say that, Corey?
Yeah, I really screwed that up here. That was I should have left it to the expert here on that one.
You really should have, yeah.
You got to be a big fan of Den, though, right? Because I know there's a card that you played a ton in your career that is basically the same thing, Raging Ravine. It's pretty much the same card, right? Like, it scales 1 up,
Rage Ravine had its own. Rage Ravine's a little bit better.
Are you getting... I mean, Brad's over here giving me a death glare. It's like, don't you talk trash about Raging Ravine. It's way better.
It's a little bit better. All right, so this is going to be able to block a token, but I still think that Race can just attack straight into this. Not worry with the life total. And also, like, it doesn't really matter if they trade with them because that does take away pips. Now, if a Burning Tree Emissary comes down, that can start generating a bunch of mana for that Nykthos.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, there's a Kroxa coming in for double hits. There goes both of the cards. A 6/6 coming into play, and that's what we call a closer right there. That's a tough one for mono green to beat.
Yeah, Kroxa is a closer, especially with 5 cards in the graveyard. None of them which are creatures, so it's not going to hurt that Lurrus that was already brought back to Race's hand earlier in the game.
Yeah, that is a big one. And honestly, it's kind of a weird comparison, but I've been playing this deck a decent amount, the Rakdos Blood deck, and it really and truly does have some comparisons to, that's the game right there, just some comparisons to Death Shadow. Like, you just try to kill a bunch of things, you have some decent threats, and then you just have inevitability with Kroxa. And since Earl went away, I mean, I guess maybe there's not a ton of other escape creatures anyways, but Kroxa is just the best card when it comes to inevitability in, like, Modern even, and especially Pioneer when there's even a smaller card pool.
Yeah, it is a very powerful card. It's one of those interesting ones where it's not scary until it is. And in the early turns, you really don't want to invest that mana into it. Making them discard their worst card isn't that big of a deal. They already have a lot of resources. But later in the game, when those graveyards are filling up, which means the hands are lowering, it can be a very scary threat. And we saw it just take down game 2 for Race, taking us to a decider with mono green on the play.
Who do you like for this last one?
Mono green all the time.
Mono green machine. Yeah. And another thing that I do love about this blood deck, there's things I don't love. I really don't love the Winota matchup. But the thing I do like is you saw how fast the graveyard filled up with just removal spell, Kroxa. against the other decks, it's hand disruption, hand disruption,
Yes.
hand disruption, Kroxa, Kroxa, you know? So, like, you get to, no matter what, Kroxa just stays in, because in either of the sides of the matchups, you just get to do that thing.
Yeah, we cannot escape the Sylvan Primordial. We'll see if it does have any impact on this game. Now, this is a slower start for Mogg with only 2 lands. With that Oath of Nissa probably finding more, but it's a more stable hand. If hand disruption comes down, it's not really getting picked apart too badly. Now, one of the things I would say is Sylvan Primordial is kind of it's an interesting to bring in because of these matchups. Like you should think that you're going to get stuck in a mid-range game, and just have all of your mid-range threats, and that might be one of that might be that plan.
That is a good plan. The one thing that kind of puts a wrench in that is when you have all these big things, like look what happened here. If you get the mana sources cut from under you by like Kroxa or something, because you don't want to discard your big things, you can be kind of put in the abyss where you just, you know, kind of can never cast these cards. You have to top deck lands, but also you need to cast spells and stuff. So it can be kind of rough. Yeah, just a little bit, just a little brutal when it comes to that. And one other thing I want to say about playing against these kind of hand disruptions is it's just really, really brutal to mulligan at all against this deck. Like, I keep so much junk or medium hands. Well, I kind of do that anyways because we've been testing with Seth Manfield. We know that's the way. But I pretty much keep anything against decks with a lot of Thoughtseizes.
All right, so we saw Raced mulligan 2/6 once again, coming down with another Voldaren, getting another blood token. A second Werewolf Pack Leader was shut up off of this Oath of Nissa, and then what's the next draw? Another Oath of Nissa. Now that'll be necessary to find an additional land.
Oh, too funny. All right, so yeah, getting back into the game here. Oath, finding another Oath. And another one of that we see in Mogg sideboard that is a nice one, Scavenging Ooze. I bet Mogg wished there was a few more of those.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze it's such a fun card. I love it.
So good.
And it can be great in these situations, in these mid-range battles where a lot of things are depleted. Then that Scavenging Ooze, if there's no removal spell in race hand, if they're trying to do a Lurrus or a Kroxa game plan to finish things off, it can just decimate all of that and kind of just get over the finish line all by itself.
Yeah, nope, totally agree with you. And catching up to the game there, Race did have another mulligan. That's 4 mulligans for Race. That's pretty brutal in general from a pretty consistent deck. Thoughtseize coming here. What do you take, bro?
I think I would probably take another Wolfpack or the Scavenging Ooze. Maybe the Oath to try to get him stuck.
Yeah. I mean, just stuck on 2 lands. You wouldn't just snap off that Sylvan Primordial?
I mean, that would be thinking for the long game.
Really in the tank here, you know, just shows how much these players want it as well. There's a lot of points on the line. Losing this first round, you know, is detrimental to winning a tournament, believe it or not. And all these...
I mean, that's why they're here, for these hard-hitting facts on the ManaTraders commentary.
I mean, and that's what we're going to give them. That's what we're going to give them. Now, reminder to everybody, they are trying to get to first and second. That's kind of that golden spot here. You win a little extra money, but you get to that final end-of-the-year tournament in December. And, I mean, I know you've played in a lot of Worlds. You played in the Players Champs, those kind of like 16-person or 8-person smaller fields. I know this one's a little bit bigger, but, you know, how are those tournaments? Are they just awesome? I've always wanted to play in one.
They're a lot of fun. I mean, I haven't played any in the digital era.
Okay.
I've always traveled to them.
Yep.
And so
you mean leaving your house?
I don't.
Back when we could do that?
Yeah, this was in the before time.
Oh, the before times. Okay,
now, this was
16 years ago.
Top deck. I mean, we gotta get back to the game because Nykthos was drawn.
Wow.
Which can lead to some great things if Raced does not have actual removal spells, because 2 Werewolf Pack Leaders in play not only will synergize by drawing cards together, but they'll create the 4th and 5th pip for that Nykthos.
Yeah, and here's the nice thing that is one of the options from Mogg. You can still play Nykthos, add 3 green, and then play Werewolf Pack Leader and Oath of Nissa. I think that's what I would do here now. You can also Voracious Hydra as well for 1. Seems a little weak, but 2 Werewolf Pack Leaders, that is just a, like, you know, your hair standing up on the back of your neck if you're raced. You have to kill at least 1. Drawing 2 cards here and getting hit for 6 is something that you can just not do in this mid-range slogs. Another forest there picked up from Mogg to be able to make sure we have another land. for our follow-up turn next turn.
This is a big turn for Race.
Huge
They
turn.
have to interact. If they don't, they're going to lose a land. By Sylvan Primordial, there's just going to be too much on the board.
Yep, and look at that there. Discarding Blood Tithe Harvester there valued the Thoughtseize over just casting that card, which would have then granted a second blood and then had the option to just actually kill one of those.
It is interesting.
That's an interesting one, but...
Yeah, because if there's no elf in play, then there's no threat of a 4-drop.
There's always a threat of a 4-drop in this deck with multiple Burning Tree Emissaries.
You still can't get there.
Oh, you can. Yeah, with Nykthos, you could have went Burning Tree, 4-drop.
Oh, yes, that's right. All right,
but,
with the werewolf, yeah.
But maybe that's playing a little too scared. I'm with you. It's very unlikely that you're going to get a 4-drop, you know? Just Raced really prioritizing dealing with this stuff, but, you know, here we are.
If this is a big one. If this deals with a creature, which this might be one of those lava coils. Yeah, it is. Now, yeah, Sylvan Primordial is stuck in hand once again.
And we got an update from one of our other tables. Allies Forever, which is our lone undefeated player, has somehow done the impossible. Winning after you XO a tournament. I've never done it. I've never done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're one short, right?
No, because Nykthos turns it into that. The
double bip. Oh my God, Sylvan Primordial!
Birdie Trim.
Let me get a high five there.
Primordial. Raced has to be stomach turning from this.
Bang! There's a 6/8 there that can destroy a permanent. And wow, Sylvan Primordial is going to be framed on Mog's wall after this tournament because you know what? Maybe it hasn't done the most insane things, but it's definitely done things, and I'm here for it.
Oh, it has done amazing things. That is amazing. All right,
incredible.
I mean, already a resource depleted race, needing to deal with the werewolf in play. Yeah, that's been taking down the life totals. But now this almost completely shuts the door.
I mean, how do you deal with a 8 toughness creature that has a converted mana cost 4 or greater from this blood deck? I mean, feed the swarm. Dreadbore is really what we need here. You don't want to feed the swarm that one.
No, the swarm would
be fed. Yeah.
Way too full. That would just be overeating.
That would be fed the swarm for sure. That's for sure. All right, checking back in the game here. We got that Fatal Push to deal with Werewolf Pack later. But, you know, only 2 cards from Race. You got to think that we're kind of in chump block mode here. And,
Kogla off the top 2, end it.
Oh, my God. Kogla coming out.
I don't think I've had a day in my life that my significant other has loved me more than this green deck has loved Mog.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't believe it.
We got King Kong here coming in to more than likely close this out and give Mog a win into the top 4 to join Allies Forever with that Jeskai Ascendancy list. And there it is. That was incredible.
Unbelievable.
All right, and another update here as well. All right, coming back to the booth here, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Corey. That's Brad. We are going to be, checking out more matches here. We got another update from the field. We got Kane Reinhardt that just won over Super Cow 2-1, and I believe Kane was on. Is it? Let me double check this. So it looks like we're going to have one match going, Dan. Maybe we can check that out and try to pop in if they aren't completely done. But yeah, Kane is on Is It. So we're down to Is It, Mono Green, and Jeskai Ascendancy so far.
That's great. 3 different decks.
Yeah. So the other match that we would have is our Rakdos Blood matchup by Bart up against what would be our second seed, which is Lotus Field by Victor. So we'll see if they're still going.
I mean, we still have to just talk a second about that last match.
Though. Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
Like Dan can figure this out for us.
Yes, good call.
I thought when I saw that Sylvan Primordial, I was like, that is not going to have any impact. And did it come down on turn 5 through multiple disruptive spells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Mog knows this deck way better than I do.
No kidding.
And I'm not going to judge anymore on which big threats you have to put on the table.
And I still want to hear if this card is just like a pet card for Mog or if this is just really something that, is like, oh. All right, everybody, welcome back to the ManaTraders series. My name is Corey Baumeister.
Brad Nelson.
That's Brad Nelson. He's the man. We are going to be bringing you the top 4 now. You blink and you miss these things. This event really goes fast.
We have to stay on our toes, and I'm not the speediest of guys.
Not the speediest of guys. Okay, has been called. So this round, we're really going to be following, to start at least, Kane Reinhardt, an amazing player from the SCG Tour, has been really a scary force there. Has since then been streaming as Sneaky Masato on their Twitch channel. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every single weekend I'm tuning it on, and you see some high-level gameplay, and you see top 8s. You just see top 8s all the time.
All the formats?
I see a lot of Pioneer, a lot of Modern, as far as those go. Maybe some other ones. But yeah, overall, some really good play from Kane.
That is awesome. And are we ready to go into the match, or do I got a second?
You got a second.
Perfect. Yeah. I would like to inform everyone that's watching, if you haven't heard of the ManaTraders series, if you're just popping in to say hi to these wonderful faces, this is a year-long series. There is a final tournament at the end of each month. There's a series of 2 weeks where you get to play to qualify for the Swiss that we did yesterday.
Yes.
The Swiss qualifies for the top 8. The top 2 qualifies you for the December finals, along with the 2-week series beforehand. Those also qualify 2 people. 40 players will be playing at the end of the year. So if you're interested in getting involved in another tournament series and having a lot of fun, think about getting a ManaTraders account. Yes. Think about start trying out all these awesome Magic Online formats. I've been hearing a lot of new players are coming in playing on Magic Online.
Absolutely.
It's where all the cool kids are.
It is where all the cool kids are, and if you want to be one of those cool kids that saves yourself a bunch of cash, use that ! Bash Bros as well. You're going to get the best discount in the game. 20% off the first 2-month subscriptions. And you know what? I think this is good of time as ever. The format you better be playing, that's Legacy.
Are we announcing it already?
We're announcing it.
Oh, that is right. Yeah. Next month's ManaTraders is Legacy. The monkey is gone.
Monkey's gone. So what are you going to play? Are you just going to play Delver in your Ragavan, Is It deck? You going to play something else now that Ragavan has been kind of putting it down a bit? A lot of options, and Legacy is pretty open. So, all right, here we go. We are jumping on in here. We got Sneaky Masato here with Is It Phoenix, and then we have our other Rakdos Blood deck, which made it in.
And we have one hand cam.
So far, we got one.
We got one so far. I wonder if we're going to get 2.
It sounds like we got one, Brad.
All right, we've got one. We've got one. That's all right. Well, so Sneaky Masato's hand, that Thoughtseize was very disruptive because it took the one ability to gain card advantage. One of the things you're not really looking for in a match like this is a lot of creature removal. It just doesn't. It has an impact, right? You want to deal with this 3/2 so it doesn't attack you, but the game you need to go on a cruise.
Yeah, you really need to be cruising, and that's also the really tough thing is if you get a lot of your cards hand disruptioned away, and then you just top deck cruise, like then the games just don't even look close.
Yeah.
Like hand disruption does not like these treasure cruise effects because, well, you don't want to take them early. Like, look, we took pieces of the puzzle. That makes sense. That can give you 2 cards. It can put Phoenixes into the graveyard, so you really do want to take that, but you're fueling the fire for the cruise.
Well, that's same thing. That's one of the more impressive things. One of the most recent releases on the Mind Rot franchise was Go Blank.
Yes.
And Go Blank is just everything a deck that plays Thoughtseize against these card advantage decks wants.
Yes. No, it's absolutely insane. And honestly, it's the card for both Is It and Jeskai or 4-color Ascendancy. And, we're going to see a lot of that. So we're going to take a quick look here from our Rakdos Blood player here. This is the one now. Oh, wait, no, this one does have claims as well. Okay, well, hang on. Maybe I clicked the wrong one. Nope. Okay.
No, you're good.
So yeah, 3 go blanks in the board as well as 1 go blank in the main. So, that main deck one, definitely going to be something we're looking out for. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the other 3 will be coming in.
Yeah, and in an update to the game, the ship has sunk with Treasure Cruise getting Thoughtseize, so there's going to need another top deck. Hall of Storm Giants also a long ways away. So this is going to be a tough game, honestly, for Sneaky to figure out what they're going to need to do. I mean, you can just play a Phoenix and start attacking. Hopefully that's enough because there is only 1 card left in hand, but that Lurrus can start doing some damage later on as well.
Yep, absolutely. Lurrus is, a little bit of a problem for these Izzet decks. You do have a lot of removal for it, but even just the Lurrus turn where you just play Lurrus, you get one other creature back, and then now all of a sudden you have to deal with the board, and you have to deal with Lurrus, because if you deal with the board first, Lurrus brings it back. That is not exactly a combo, so it can be pretty tricky.
That is very true. We're going to see 3 damage coming in, and it really depends on what's in hand. I mean, this does seem like an opportune time to get that Lurrus in hand.
Yeah.
But there's also blood shenanigans that can happen.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing with these Rakdos blood decks. It's like every single turn, you just have so many decisions because bloods add that extra layer of complexity and just, all kinds of stuff. So
it is refreshing to see a mid-range deck in this format because there is a lot of like Phoenix and combo and stuff like that. So I guess that, usually these mid-range decks don't really come in to play in formats like this, but it's refreshing to see one actually being able to exist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And God, just Pioneer just feels like a mid-range fest to me though, which I love. And here we go, Claim Fame, one of my favorite cards, bros.
Getting aggressive.
I prefer to target Arcanist, Dreadheart Arcanist with this, but
you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's legal in this format.
Well, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Can't argue with those facts here. So, Blood Tithe Harvester coming back in, and now it's the thing. Like, I think our our Rakdos Blood player is just thinking, how risky is it? Do we think that Kane has a removal spell, or should I just go for the Fame?
Well, we know, like, because of these hand disruptions, they know what the coast is, and while the coast isn't cleared, they're fine with the 2-for-1 here.
Fine with the 2-for-1. This is going to be the worst case scenario for 4X here, just because the card that we're discarding is a Phoenix. Still completely fine, and this still is a 2-for-1. That you're happy to make. But now Sneaky Masato is really looking for these consider change, these op change, or, of course, to be cruising.
Maybe a piece of the
only
puzzle.
One other cruise, though, bro. There's only 2 in this list.
But there's a lot of expressive iterations.
How about an island?
Well, the island is not what we're looking for. But there's a lot. And now, if we see another land off the top, it can be a Den turn. It can be a Lurrus turn.
Mm-hmm.
To keep the pressure, I would definitely think if there's a land drawn right there.
Boom.
Yeah, Den. Coming in.
Here we go.
7 damage to the face.
Yep. I think 4X is agreeing with you here. Here comes Den. Removal check. Nope, not there. Bam. Here comes 7. And that's 8 next turn if we choose to do it again. Not quite exactly lethal. There's that opt. Can it find more?
Well, we're going to find
Huge turn.
out. How opportunistic is this opt? Wow. Expressive iteration.
That's a good one.
That is a magic card.
Look at how fast this can turn around. If we hit one more spell, we have an Arclight Phoenix to block, and you're gonna have probably a spell in hand, and cast the spell that you exile off expressive iteration here. Piece of the puzzle is not it, but consider is.
Consider is. All right. Consider will get that Arclight Phoenix in play to block that Den, but now we can shift gears as well. I mean, or even. If you're still trying to be super aggressive, you can kill it with the vampire in play and keep attacking.
Yep.
That's probably not the best play, but also putting Lurrus in hand, you're starting to lose this fight.
So I just want to bring some attention to Kane's hand now. Just look at this. We have consider pieces of the puzzle, and we started the turn with 1 island in hand, and now you have 2 cards that find you a grand total of 3 cards, and you cast 3 spells to bring an Arclight Phoenix back. This is the power and the resiliency that Arclight Phoenix offers. And you know what? Here we see Kroxa, a great card as well. And that's the longevity that these Rakdos blood decks can have. But now you just discard that consider. And with pieces of the puzzle, you could block with this Phoenix and probably just bring it back next turn already. Like, that's just insane.
Something that's interesting is, there were 1 card off, right? Or I guess 2. No, they're just 1 card off because you can sack the vampire to get the 4th. And so, if there was 1 extra mana too, you could discard the Kroxa to blood, discard the next card drawn to blood, sacrifice, get it into play.
Yeah.
It's not, it just puts the 6/6 into play and hammers that hand.
Yeah, 6/6s are like the Achilles heels of Phoenix though. Like you have those lightning axes. You have Fiery Impulse. So you got to pair 2 removal spells to beat a Kroxa.
Yeah, I hear the heat is holy in this format.
Yeah, unfortunately, Unholy Heat's probably the best removal spell we've ever seen. Is just, I guess Swords to Plowshare would like to have words with me on that one. But, the best one we've seen in modern day Magic, not legal in this format.
All right, so this is probably going to put Consider in the graveyard.
Or do you cast it?
You could cast it. I think you should. Probably you should cast it.
I think so, right? Because then you could hit a Phoenix off the top and then just discard whatever card you get.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it does protect your life total if you hit a land. That's the worst case scenario.
That's actually very true.
Yeah. Because we're not at a super comfortable life. Here's probably Luris.
Yeah, we are working through all the plays here.
Yeah,
and the players already know what to do.
Yep, absolutely. They've been playing a long tournament already. 8 rounds yesterday, culminating with the top 8 today.
All right, piece
of the puzzle.
Can we get a shot on their revealed?
Well, we're gonna find it.
Oh, it's only 1 off.
Oh no, detrimental.
But there is an Arclight Phoenix.
Okay, so we did get a Phoenix. It's kind of like 2 cards now. So here's Opt, and we're gonna at least have another Opt. So 2 birds are gonna be able to be screwed around with here. And there's a Temporal Trespass. We don't have the mana to do it now, but if Kane Reinhardt can have the foresight here to be able to opt and make sure to, let's say, not play a land or something, you can get that Arclight Phoenix back, and you could actually attack with both. The crackback is only 8, and then you can win the game next turn. So, I mean, it's an aggressive line.
You can also only attack with 1 in case something horrible happens.
Like what, though? What can they get? Like, Den is the thing that takes away all your mana to get that extra mana, or to get that extra damage in. So that really limits what the top decks can be. I think I like getting busy with both.
It doesn't seem bad. I say get aggressive because the game, you have the tools now to actually do what you need. And plus that chart, of course. I mean, but how aggressive do you actually have to be too? Because
it has to be 1. It just has to be 1, right?
That's what I'm saying. You can attack with 1 to play it safe and still present lethal. You can just use 1 to say no attack, no block.
We got to put the factor of Blood Tithe Harvester in there as well to be able to deal with the Phoenix. And here's the draw, though, bro. That would just be 4X's best draw by far, and there's 8 of them in the deck, I'm sure. Or I guess this is game 1, so maybe not. Maybe there's only 5. Duress or Thoughtseize to hit one of the cards, sack the Harvester, and then bring back Kroxa to get both. Or to get Kroxa Escape from the graveyard to get both cards in Kane's hand. That's what 4X is after.
You thinking Sneaky thinks they're against Mogged right now? No one else can top deck like that.
yeah, good point. Mogged with that mono green, insane play in our top 8 there, playing up against Jeskai Ascendancy as we speak. Boom, big draw step.
What is it?
So we know Luris is one of the cards in hand.
No. Okay.
Okay, so Luris is probably... Okay, Blood Tithe. So Luris is probably discarded. If we top deck a land, you can just Blood again, discard Luris, play the land and Kroxa, or we can just Kroxa here, but Charter Course is going to go away. We're going to keep that Temporal Trespassing. It's not going to be lethal yet, but there's going to be an absolute ton of top decks for Sneaky. Running lands will probably do it because of Hull.
I mean, I guess you keep the Temporal Trespass, but maybe you're not supposed to.
I think you have to. I don't envision a way you win with just like Charter Course trying to draw a couple extra cards. This is really close.
It is a tough decision.
Yeah. And there's that 1 extra land, and we know Luris is in hand.
Chart was taken.
Okay. And Luris is the last card in 4X's hand. We got that perfect information, even though we don't have the hand of him.
Well, this is big. Land off the top does threaten, and there it is.
It forces the chump.
It forces a chump with the Hall.
Yep.
But there needs to be an additional land cast. So,
Pathway, tap all your lands. Delve the least amount of cards possible in case you draw another one, or Treasure Cruise, and hope the top of the deck is good. Arclight Phoenix is probably the best draw, or Expressive Iteration to maybe try to chain them together and get that other Phoenix back.
Arclight is lethal.
Yeah. Arclight, you don't have to worry about anything. Did you know you can cast that card It just has a mana cost.
Oh, I have done it more times than I have gotten it back. Let's say that.
Wow, you're that unlucky, huh?
All right, what is the
big
top
draw?
deck?
That's another land. Okay.
That's great. I mean, there's a lot of good draws. So this means the Hall can come in, force
Yep.
the chump block, and put a 1-turn clock with Arc-like Phoenix.
Yep. Deck the Halls. Here they come to force Kroxa to chump block here. Gonna really regret not leaving that 1/1 back.
The 1/1 got feisty.
Yeah, the 1/1 got feisty, but honestly, that's a tough sequence to play around. Knowing you could have a time walk, reasonable, and then you need to top deck just 2 running lands. I mean,
we saw the line.
We saw the line, and honestly, we don't even have any hand information, as you can see at the right side of your screen. So I think we're just, gas.
Yeah, we're just great.
All right, Hall, Kroxa jumping in the way of a 7/7 with that 6/6, and we'll see what we want to do from 4X now. On surface value, we have that Luris, bring back Harvester to make sure you can block Hall, but you have to deal with that Phoenix here. It's just game over.
Yeah, it seems like it is. It's so difficult because
look at all these bloods. You just get so many looks at it.
But you also then are gonna have to start being able to block Hall.
What a game!
That was a great game.
What a game!
All right, so just
well played.
Just for anyone coming in to know, I keep repeating this, but we're gonna stay on this screen as the player sideboard because we are watching through Magic Online so that we don't disrupt the players in any way. They're currently sideboarding. This screen will populate the match once both are done.
Absolutely. So while they do that, we're going to take a peek at everyone's hand size or sideboards, excuse me. One of our future events, maybe we can try to get some cool graphics or something. But knowing us, that sounds pretty tough.
It is a lot, yeah.
It is definitely tough. So we're going to take a look at the sideboards here from Kane Reinhardt's sideboard, who just took down that first one. We got some invasive surgeries. Probably not going to see those. Stern Dismissal, Aether Gust.
We will for sure see invasive surgery.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a Trump 2...
Go blank.
And all the hand disruptions, a 1-mana answer to all these. Yeah, and if you ever do get Delirium on, you don't have to worry about Go Blank for the rest of the game.
That's a really good point. So then the other card that I'm kind of questioning is maybe there's 2 Anger of the Gods. Do you bring that in? Because it's like it's an aggro deck, but if you fight the blood decks in that way, I don't know if that's the right way to fight them.
I don't think I would. I think the way that you want to approach a match like this is to know that they're going to be trying to rip apart your resources.
Yeah.
And when you do that, what they get to do is they get to then choose what game you're playing. If you're playing all the card advantage and the threats and the removal, then they can pick apart the card advantage, leave you with a handful of removal spells, and force you to keep top decking. So how I usually play these is I play the appropriate amount of removal, which is very minimal, like 5-6 copies, trying to do things with that.
Okay.
At the most, and so I would probably be relying on already like the ones that are in my deck.
Yeah, I think I'd tend to agree with you there. I think the only consideration is the only time I would ever consider that card is being on the draw, because they go Vodarin Epicure into Blood Tithe Harvester, and another creature. Anger's gonna look insane. But
they're probably not going to do that.
Yeah, they're probably not. It probably is just turn into a control deck, even up against Izzet Phoenix, which is usually the controlling side of it. So
you stay velocity driven. I think that's the most important thing for an Izzet deck to do in most matchups, that you're not trying to interact with them like with combo spells.
How many times do you think you said velocity driven this weekend?
I mean, that's where Magic has went.
Yeah, and that's really true. That is a very good point.
It is very important to make sure that you are playing spells that continue to allow you to play spells.
Very, very true. And yeah, that's pretty much Izzet Phoenix in a nutshell here. Looking at Kane Reinhardt's hand, we got 2 duels. A little awkward because that Storm-Carved Coast has to come into play tapped on turn 1. But then Treasure Cruise, Pieces, Opt. And once again, when we were watching the Rakdos Blood deck, from last round, you don't want to mulligan a lot against these decks. Even with a medium hand, and I think this is just an above average hand, or at least average, you just don't want to mulligan much at all.
Well, I think you don't want to mulligan a lot with these mid-range decks, period, especially ones that are trying to Kroxa. Right? Each time you mulligan, you're going to have a more difficult time setting up those resource-demanded escape cards.
Yeah, exactly. And these decks just go into 4 go blanks. They already have 4 Thoughtseize and up to 3 Duresses. That is the most hand disruption I have seen in any deck.
I don't know about you, bro, but whenever I do a puzzle, I always lose a piece.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating, right? And that's just what happened to Sneaky with that Thoughtseize on the piece of the puzzle.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, I've never seen you do a puzzle in my life, Brad. Steam Vents off the top, an excellent draw, so that kind of evens stuff out a bit where you don't have to cast that Storm Carved Coast right away. Gonna see Croxa here. I think I know what I'd discard, bro.
I do too, yeah. Croxa is always a fun one when you just get to discard the Arc-like Phoenix.
Yeah, no kidding. I was playing a nice little modern top 8 sick brag here of a challenge event, and I just had to keep in Croxa up against a dredge deck, and it didn't feel good playing that, and they discard Stinkweed in.
Why would you keep it in or cast it?
Yeah, wasn't my best play. I lost that match. Coming in with that discard here, Arclight Phoenix to the board or to the graveyard. Probably going to see an opt here. Not really going to be quite cruising yet, but it's getting close. Another Arclight Phoenix to the hand.
Yeah, Treasure Shoes changes a lot because a lot of times I'll keep those ops for the third turn and try to chain ops yourselves. But you also want to get a critical mass in the graveyard for a Treasure Cruise. So
totally agree. And against these decks that just rip your hand apart, the dream of playing 3 spells usually looks a lot more like what we saw last game, where Kane just top deck 1 spell into a spell into a spell, rather than like holding up 3 and hoping that works. You know, it's just pretty trick.
All right, we're seeing a consider in response to this Thoughtseize. I think that this could be an invasive surgery. It's an expressive iteration. Now we're getting to that spot. Right now, if this Thoughtseize takes Treasure Cruise and Expressive gets cast, if they take the Expressive iteration, that Treasure Cruise could have been cast. You would have lost an Arc like Phoenix, but you would have been able to cast a spell.
Sounds great. And we got another update here from our other table. Looks like Mogd was right about being a little bit faster than that combo deck. Took down the undefeated 9-0 player with Jeskai Ascendancy to move to the finals of the ManaTraders Pioneer Series.
Sending them to December.
Yep. That was just essentially a PTQ in a way for another high-level event.
Yeah, just a giant event in the year.
So congratulations to them.
Prizes. That'll be awesome. Pieces of the puzzles drawn, getting an invasive surgery, getting a consider. This is
a big turn for Go Blank. Yeah. This is a big turn for Go Blank. If you don't have it now, you might as well not even cast it. Okay, Duress. What are we going to see taken here? That Treasure Cruise is gone, so it's not as impactful for the graveyard, but would be a big turn to follow this up with land number 4, Go Blank. But then you are out of cards.
And one card in hand to stop the Asylum Veiler. Or is it 1 or less to draw cards? I do believe that is true.
If it has no cards. Dan, can we get a maximize on that Asylum Visitor? That's a card that I have not seen in a while here.
I do believe that you get to draw a card if you have no cards in hand. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, if you, the player, has no cards in hand, not your opponent, huh?
Yes, it's you, but sadly there is still 1.
Yep. Looks like that's a Dementor taking the soul of young Harry Potter there on the artwork. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you should just not examine art anymore for the series. That would be great. Thank you.
I've been watching a lot of Harry Potter lately. My fiance has never seen him, so.
Really?
Yeah, has never seen
We should all watch them together.
Amber and I are huge
fans.
We watched them because of you two, to be honest.
Perfect.
Yep. Expressive Iteration being cast here. Try to find another spell to be able to bring back some Arclight Phoenixes. Land Faithless looting is probably what I'd be looking for.
Well, what I'm looking for is to ask chat, should I just be saying a lot of Harry Potter references for the rest of this now?
God,
Can we get a poll in chat, everyone?
We usually watch them late at night, too, though, and Tori stays awake, my fiance, for about half of them, so don't quiz her, because I think...
not quizzing.
Okay.
All right, so...
Looks like that is a Treasure Cruise here in the Exile.
Expelioso!
We are in no way sponsored by Harry Potter. Treasure Cruise here into Treasure Cruise land off that expressive iteration was insane. So here we go. We're going to be cruising right now. They're exiling the 7 cards. That might even be spell number 3 for bringing back Arclight Phoenixes as well. So I think we're going to go up to 7 cards in hand and be attacking with some birds here. I mean, how does Kane lose from the situation?
It's gonna be difficult. I mean, the pressure coming in is not that much. There is a removal spell. There's Another temporal.
Yep, Temporal Mastery, they're drawn. And I believe Kane's list does not play Galvanic. Nope, never mind. There's 2 still Galvanic iterations if we can get that going.
Yeah, have to if there's Temporal Trespasses.
Yep. Oh,
they might not be there anymore after Sideboard because of all the go blanks.
That makes sense.
All right, Lava Coil.
We figured out what that last card they couldn't get out of their hand was.
Yeah, all right. So things are a little murky here. It's difficult to get a bunch of cards cast.
Yeah. Thing in the Ice, a couple Arclight Phoenixes, so a lot of creatures. Doesn't look like a ton of spells here.
Yeah, it's a difficult turn. I mean, the Trespass isn't going to be able to get cast this turn. I guess. Yeah, there's no way to cast it, right? Yeah, there's only 5 cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Lava Coil exiled the Phoenix. I mean, maybe you just hardcast Phoenix, but now these Asylum Visitors are going to start generating. I believe 1 card. If you have 2 in play, I don't think you get both.
Yeah, I think
the rules text.
The ability stacks for both of them, but I would assume unless you cast a spell, checks on resolutions, absolutely. So only going to trigger 1, and honestly for 4X, for the next turn for sure, that is maybe a negative. But for the following turns after that, could be a bit of a liability here if we just go land and Phoenix Beatdown. I like this play instead of, I believe we could have Time Walk there, but I like setting up a board presence and then doing Time Walks because just taking an extra turn doesn't really do it. You really got to have something.
They were also one mana short.
Okay. Math is hard. So it looks like we did draw that extra card from the Asylum Visitor.
That did just turn on the Croxa, though.
Dun, 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 dun. Here comes Croxa.
Yeah, that removal spell brings Croxa in.
right, everybody, welcome back to the ManaTraders series. My name's Corey Baumeister.
Brad Nelson.
That's Brad Nelson, and we are going to be bringing you the finals here of this tournament.
It's been a fun week, actually.
Awesome.
I've enjoyed this thoroughly, actually.
Yeah.
We got to play 8 rounds yesterday. We had Todd in the booth,
Yep.
a true master Pioneer player.
Yeah.
Every week. If you don't know, Todd streams Monday through Friday between like 1 to 5 Eastern, I believe. But he came in, dropped a bunch of knowledge about the format. And now we've got a finals. We've got a finals between Is It Phoenix and I would say the dark horse of the tournament. Mono Green Devotion.
Yeah, absolutely. Mono Green Devotion is just so sweet. That's the deck I've really been loving. It's hard to, dislike Is It Phoenix, though, or it's hard to really bet against that deck as well. It's just proven it's just so resilient.
In my experience and with the community, it's hard to love Is It Phoenix.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It is definitely, I think, one of the top 2 decks that are just cemented as tier 1, and everything else is at that kind of, I like to say, like 1.5 range, where at any point these could be decks that go into tier 1, and we don't really for sure know exactly what a defined metagame is yet, because Pioneer's so wide open.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I like to look at, especially with formats that need exploration, is what are the decks, like when you say tier 1 for Phoenix, I say it is the deck that needs the most attention on how to interact with it. And the format's still trying to figure that out, right? You're trying to take these other decks, tune them to beat this deck that's already well-oiled engine.
Yes.
And so what we might see as Pioneer develops is decks that just figure it out a little bit better.
Yes.
And know exactly how to approach these matchups.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we did see, as far as the top 4 goes, we saw Mogd take down our undefeated 9-0 player. Impressive work with Jeskai Ascendancy. We didn't get to bring you that one. I kind of thought this match would finish in time that we'd be able to catch the end of it. But, with how that mono green deck has been going, maybe that was just quite foolish.
If we have a result where mono green wins, it's going to be fast.
It's going to be fast. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be heading into the finals here at the ManaTrader series featuring Pioneer. Let's check it out. Okay, here we go. And honestly, we've seen both these players' hand cams. We might be having both. Or if one just exploded.
I think we have the ultimate finals.
We might have the ultimate finals here.
Both players, watchable match, pan cams.
Dan, up top to you. Great work over there, and great work to these players.
500 points listening. To Gryffindor.
All right, so taking a look at these hands, I believe Kane Reinhardt was the higher seed, so we'll be playing first.
No, actually, how the ManaTraders works.
Never mind. Yeah, it's totally the opposite.
Well, it's also how the ManaTraders works that there is no seeding for the top 8. It is random.
Okay. Yep. Correction on that. Sorry about that.
I do believe that.
Okay, so it is random. We see a mulligan there for Mog. That is pretty cool that we get to see mulligans live action there. Not cool for Mog, though, because that hand does not look great.
Well, if you thought that mulligan's going to be cool, we might see another.
Okay, so there we got a mulligan from Kane up top, and it looks like 6 for both players. And we got Kane starting this off here with Hall, Spirebluff Canal, 2-lander with Thing in the Ice, Expressive Iteration, Opt-in, Piece of the Puzzle.
Can you really ask for more?
No, that's it. Honestly, it feels like cheating. Honestly, in Standard, when you went the Smoldering Egg into Expressive Iteration, or here in Pioneer, when you can go Thing in the Ice into Iteration, it just feels dirty.
It is. It is. Thing in the Ice is also going to be one of those really difficult cards, because if you play it on turn 2 on the play, you can probably fire it off before a lot goes wrong. And also, even if a lot of things are presented onto the board, they don't have that much lasting impact until there's an untap. So putting them all back isn't going to be that bad, right? A Planeswalker can come down for a turn. It's okay.
Yep. Nope. Totally. That makes a lot of sense here. Big draw step there for Mogd, and going to be a bigger one for Mogd next turn, because right now, if Mogd untaps, you can't cast a thing. So huge draw step coming up for Mogd.
Unlike Sneaky, who has already cast a thing.
There, I did not mean to set you up that well, but boy, did I. We got Expressive Iteration there, finding the desperately needed land. Stormcarved Coast actually finding a second one to put into hand. So all those mana problems are done. And now there's just a couple pieces to put together next turn from Kane. And it's, going to be a great sequence here. Scavenging Ooze coming in. Kane Reinhardt's going to be taking a look at that deck list real quick. And then blocking, because there's nothing.
We're going to figure out if Sneaky is a giant or a coward.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. And a giant, we know this.
Right.
With the perfect information of an open decklist tournament, that was definitely a good block.
True. But also, with just information on board, I would block.
Yeah, and just with the information of playing Magic
Green
for,
Nykthos.
10 plus years like Kane Reinhardt has done, so. All right, Kane firing out that opt there, and we be cruising.
The heat is up with that opt on Thing in the Ice. Now, actually, piece of the puzzle with that island, we might see a treasure cruise.
Yeah?
Break that thing out of the ice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, that's 2 cards there. That's 6 total cards. I think we're going to be 1 short unless we only hit 1.
Yeah, you could leave it.
You could leave it, huh? But that's the thing, up against green. It's not like those blood matches that we just saw. There's just not a lot of hand disruptions. Kane's going to be able to do it next turn.
Yeah,
or wait, there is 7 cards. We just can't math.
Well, I can.
Well, maybe they did just leave it, huh?
No, they didn't. They grabbed to consider an expressive iteration.
And that's all for coverage, y'all. We're going to be heading out.
Stop. Hey, if we can't make mistakes, I don't know what we're doing here.
Absolutely. And there, the horror is awakened. Here comes 7 damage. And, God, was that a discard to hand size of discarding a Time Walk? That doesn't feel good if you're a Mogged fan. Or if you're Mogged.
Yeah, or if you're just Mogged. No, none of this is great. I mean, this is the problem, right? Not a ton of acceleration. And the thing is that, Sneaky hasn't even interacted that much with Mog, just the Awoken Horror flipping.
Yeah.
This is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes another Thing in the Ice to be dropped down. And just look at that hand from Kane. I mean, oh my God, that is just a beaut. And of course, Mog does have a decent hand, but is it just too late?
It's just, I mean, we're going to be in chump block mode here shortly, and by the time I believe Mod would start getting things on board, this Thing in the Ice is going to be able to flip next turn.
Yeah. Definitely not Thing in the garbage this game, that's for damn sure.
No. All right, Chart the Course is going to be able to get rid of Arclight Phoenix. Now, there's not, because of the casting of Thing in the Ice, we're not going to be able to see that, unless I do believe a land has already been played this turn.
I'm not 100% sure, but that's a big deal because if it hasn't been, we can just go land, consider, or land, Lightning Axe, the Scavenging Ooze, discarding a Phoenix, and then, I guess we're discarding this Phoenix to chart already, so that's not that big of a deal, but still, Lightning Axe could be in your equation to deal some more damage.
Did not discard it.
Okay. Kind of saving that as a little bit.
You have to save it because you can't get it this turn.
And you can get it eaten by Scavenging Ooze. So it was kind of the choice there that Kane had to make. Like, do you discard it now and then you're forced to Lightning Axe this Scavenging Ooze, or just hold it? But the way it works, when you discard Arclight Phoenix as a cost, you do have an opportunity to discard it, don't you?
You mean to eat it?
To eat it with Scavenging Ooze, yeah.
For sure, but what could happen is it could be the forced spellcast where, I guess that won't actually happen because you can't Lightning Axe it. It doesn't matter. There's 2 Thing in the Ices in play, and it won't go to Thing in the Ice. What we're talking about is nonsense.
Oh, yeah, that's the expert analysis you came to this channel to see, everyone. We're coming into Mog's turn. And with that Great Henge, like, that's one of these cards that can help you out a little bit, like play Great Henge, chump block, and like gain enough value where you can go over the top, but you can't beat 2 of them.
Burning Tree Emissary is starting to get we got a little fire starting, right?
Yeah.
Just a little.
So actually, here's an opportunity where you can kill Scavenging Ooze before the mana comes into play, and you can't eat that Phoenix. We'll see if Kane decides to fire it off now. I know I would. You fire it off now because you also lower it. Yeah, there we go. Mm-hmm. There we go, Kane. That boy knows how to play some Izzet Phoenix. Coming in with that Lightning Axe, I'm guessing to Scavenging Ooze. Maybe you hit Burning Tree Emissary just because you think you're so far ahead, but I think you take the pesky Ooze.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of avenues, right? You've got all of your things in place for this game.
Okay, decides to take the Burning Tree. I like it. It is 2 color pips for Nykthos, so that does make sense to me.
Yeah, I might be missing something in my old age, but I just can't see a reality of, like, at this point, as long as Sneaky cast spells, the game does end.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything, even with 5 mana, that Mog could do with it.
Yeah.
But you should play Optimum.
Yeah, Mog is playing spells right now, saying if you have 2 spells, it doesn't matter. But if you don't, hey, I got a blocker here, and maybe I can chump or whatever. But with 2 spells cast here, Thing in the Ice is going to flip to Awaken Horror, bounce everything but Thing in the Ice. And we're going to have game number 1 going to Kane in a very decisive fashion. A little bit of mana problems from Mogged here, but now we're going to be doing what we've been kind of talking about throughout this tournament. Mono green on the play.
Mono green on the play. That's right.
Yep.
And that's one of the things about mono green, right? You see these often, these considers from the Izzet side, and one of the things is obviously they're there for the spells, Thing in the Ice and Phoenix and doing all these things, Treasure Cruise.
Yep.
But what they do is give you a consistency while it's a little slower because you have to cast them first. Mono green doesn't have that. So if mono green gets what it has Oath of Nissa, but besides that, it has to have the pieces, and we just didn't have the pieces with that mulligan and having a lot of expensive spells.
Yeah, I mean, we had the pieces, but just of the puzzle variety.
No puzzles either.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And there was one, yes.
There was one, yeah. The one thing I will say, I've liked the mono green side as far as like looking at control matches, kind of other aggro decks. We've seen it just go over the top. We haven't seen it against Izzet Phoenix. Like, who do you think is favored with this? I feel like Izzet Phoenix is kind of meant to beat these style of decks.
They're pro. Like the best thing Phoenix can do is deal with creatures because it can just go into this like removal spell, card advantage engine, right? Like Treasure Cruise loves interaction.
Yeah, and Thing in the Ice just seems like the best card against these green
mono
decks
green
too.
deck. Yeah, I mean they
like
can't kill it.
You can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean a really quick Vivian can do so.
Yeah, and speaking of a quick Vivian, this is what we got here. But look at this hand. This is a one-lander.
You keep them. You oath. You hit another. We put 2 more elves into play.
Yeah.
Don't you say nothing about these oath one-landers. I live on these oath one-landers.
Absolutely, and apparently so does Mogged. With that perfect information, maybe Sneaky, if given the information, would have Lightning Axe right away. But without an Arclight Phoenix to discard, you really don't want to do that. But the one thing we were talking about, Thing in the Ice, is this really powerful card. We're gonna see it next turn, and it's just gonna be, is this Vivian gonna be fast enough?
Wow.
Do you like that?
Afraid of the breaking off of the Oath of Nissa.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So looking at the list here from Kane, there is those 2 Angers, which I would probably bring in.
That's what you're afraid of. This is just if you hit the land, you're still going to be able to play the Vivian. This is
maybe prioritizing that Oath to be able to hit some gas, not just saying if you have Anger, you have it.
I'm not saying I dislike this play. It's just it's interesting to me. Now are you gonna risk? Now you can't risk the oath. Now you got.
Yeah, now if you didn't risk it last turn, you're not gonna risk it. I'll shut up.
Mog, you are
forest to hand.
Wild person, and the forest hits. We got there. We get to play the Vivian.
So now here's the thing with Vivian. You cannot kill this Thing in the Ice unless we top deck a 4-power creature in any way, shape, or form. 4-power creature or Vivian. Another Vivian.
Not correct.
It is not?
It is not. Now, it's not going to play out this way because I don't think
Are you thinking Sneaky is going to do the fabled thing of blocking?
No, no. The Werewolf Pack Leader can come down as a human, but you can pay 4 mana if a 5th land or a 6th land comes out. You can get a 5-throw out of it, turning it into a threat for Vivian to take this thing.
Actually, and on top of that, there's another line as well. You can just fire up that lair. If you top deck a land, you can make a 4/4 that's untapped and have it deal damage. Or if you don't top deck a land, you can just make a 4/4 tap lair and deal with it. So yeah, you're right. There is a couple of ways, but you're not progressing your battlefield, but you are dealing with the thing. So we'll see what is decided here. But even leaving 1 mana open with a Lightning Axe, that's
what I'm saying. Like, as long as Sneaky is playing safe around this decision point, around this Vivian, which I believe you would because it's on the board.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could 1 land into the lair can deal with the Thing in the Ice, and next turn the Thing in the Ice is more than likely going to win the game.
Yeah, look at this play, bro. How do you like this? What if we go land number 3, Thing in the Ice number 2, say go, and then just have that Lightning Axe ready to go. And then the next turn, you have Expressive Iteration and consider already that spell number 2 and 3, or that spell 3. Yeah, that's 2 and 3. You just have to find 1 more spell since you already have 2 duels in hand.
It has to
be a 1 mana spell. But you know what? If I've learned anything from watching Kane play so far, whenever you need one of those spells, you need to chain them together. So far, Kane's done it.
Yeah, but that's greedy, and you need to be that greedy to put that second Thing in the Ice into play.
I want
like if you bounce, if you trigger the first, you might trigger the second in a few turns, and it takes a while to develop. And now they don't know that Mog doesn't have the mana, but it does take another redeveloping turn. If all of these go back to their hand, it's one more turn, and I think they're taking your line.
Yep, I think so. And yeah, especially with playing that third land, it's pretty clear you're not going to be casting Expressive Iteration. And now you have the option to either consider or Lightning Axe if there's something that's presented that's bad. So now let's take a peek and bring some attention down to that Vivian Arcbow Ranger. You can just, get rid of it to bring a creature in. As far as options that we can actually cast with that land, we're up to 7 mana for creatures. Sylvan Primordial.
Kogla could take care of one of the thing nices.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen because the Lightning Axe would be able to deal with it. That's one of the things I'd be looking at. Yeah, there's just it's tough. Thing in the Ice is a very powerful card against a mono green deck, and one of the reasons why a deck like this plays 4.
Yeah. But Brad, look at this too. Look how disgusting this would have been if there was a Nykthos. This was just Ulamog, kill 2 things.
Yeah, take both Thing in the Ice out.
And that's the explosiveness of this deck and how much different games look with Nykthoses when they don't, Because it'd be 7.
No, it's only 10 mana.
8, 9, 10. That's 10. That's what you need.
11, I thought.
No, Ulamog's 10.
Ulamog's 10?
Have you? I see you have not been trained in the way of Tron. Yeah, it's a 10 drop.
That was 11.
Nope, 10 mana, 10 mana, 10, 10.
Is the other Ulamog 10 or 11?
Isn't there
believe
like
so.
3 of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of not wanting to Google it and not wanting to say you're wrong, then yeah. It's 11.
I'll let chat just tell me and I won't read it.
Exactly. I mean, it's 10 minutes delay. What can we do?
Yeah.
Mog is really in the tank here. Drew Castle, Garen Bridge. So honestly, with that castle, you have 5 mana on the battlefield. Castle makes it 6 and 7 if you're playing creatures. So you can play a ton of creatures, but creatures are not really what's getting you out of trouble here. So, that layer play that I was talking about, you can animate as a 4/4 that's untapped, deal damage to one of these things. That runs a huge foul to a Lightning Axe. And, even if you do that, what are the odds that there's not a consider at end step and then 3 more spells to just bounce everything?
That's just, I think you have to deal with one of the Thing in the Ices and hope that when the other one awakens, you're able to start blocking it and reproduce things.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my mind, I'm looking at that Kogla. I'm looking at let's hope that they don't have Lightning Axe. Let's hope I can deal with one of them. And then then I just try to stabilize after that.
Yeah. Because
you have to expect that all of your non-land permanents are going back to your hand at the end of this, or by the next time you untap.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All signs to me really point to this being a very difficult game to get out of here from Mogged. Just Thing in the Ice being the best card just that I've seen against the deck. Full stop. Of course, like Pyroclasm or Cinderclasm seems good in certain situations, but the cards that actually see play a lot, especially in the most played decks, Thing in the Ice just seems like the number one problem and something that, I would...
Because it turns the corner. That's one of the things is you interact with your opponent, but you turn the corner. We saw decks try to wrath them, and then Mogged would just miscut her Hydra or just play another few threats, constantly keeping the pressure on these control decks. Mm-hmm. Whereas a card like Thing in the Ice is the way you win the game as well. It's tempo. It's velocity.
Would you say it's velocity driven?
It is very velocity driven magic.
Mogged really in the tank about this, and I don't blame them at all because this is really...
This is their tournament
This is the game. Yeah, this is the game. The nice thing for these players, anybody who's just joining us, remember that end of the season tournament, they both qualified for.
They're there.
When you get that qualification, to quote you, when you get that carrot at the end of the stick, you feel just really good. Everything else feels like gravy. All the extra money sure is great. Congratulations on the win. How you feeling?
Feeling great, you know, winner, winner, chicken dinner, as they
Winner,
say.
winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, we watched you play in the top 4. You had a pretty close match with that Rakdos Blood deck, but Thing in the Ice kind of made this finals not that close. Talk a little bit about that final match.
Yeah, Thing in the Ice and just this deck in general is so built to just prey on the Llanowar Elves decks and various aggro decks. Like, that's why I switched to Phoenix in the first place. I had been playing a ton of Ascendancy, but everybody switched to aggro decks to just like clock Ascendancy, but Here you get the same broken shell, but you have the 8 spot removal spells, so
Yeah.
same thing in the ice. So like Llanowar Elves, who cares?
Just clean them up.
Yeah.
Because I know I watch your stream, and for anybody who isn't watching, you stream at what's your Twitch account? Sneaky Misato, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I watch your stream all the time. It seems like every single weekend you're top 8ing a challenge of some variety. And I was watching, and you were playing what I was playing at the start of this kind of format's rebirth, that enigmatic incarnation deck. So right away when I looked at the deck list, I was like, okay, let's see if Kane stuck to that one. Were you just off that deck right away, just kind of screwing around with it?
Yeah, so my thing with that deck was I was hoping that the addition of Wandering Mind would give it enough consistency, just
Yeah.
because like it's not quite Moonblessed Cleric, but it's a quote unquote better card than Moonblessed Clerik.
Yeah,
So
copy 5
having
and
like
6 kind of thing.